Much like the clubs a golfer uses, the racket a tennis player wields, or even the shoes a runner wears, these performers rarely ever swap out their equipment when they've found something that they're comfortable with and serves them well. Snooker players take things to the next level as they generally use one or two cues throughout the course of their multi-decade-long careers. And why is this the case? Similar to the aforementioned sports, but perhaps more importantly, the snooker cue is an extension of a player's arm, and in a sport such as snooker, which relies heavily on precision and technique, it is paramount that players use a cue that enables them to perform the shots that they require. Since snooker cues are made with sturdy materials and construction that allows them to last a significant period of time, it's understandable that players rely on these pieces for this length of time and prefer not to change it unless necessary. Dominic Dale discussed in an interview once about the importance of snooker cues and how professionals often use the same cue for their whole careers. Dale stated that when players use their own cues that they're familiar with, they can envisage exactly how they want the cue ball to move, particularly when applying spin or playing over distance. If a player were to frequently change cues, they wouldn't be able to play consistently due to the factors that can affect it, such as the tip size and type, the weight of the cue, and the material used for construction. Obviously, professionals will still be able to pot a ball with any cue, however at the top level, they'll need to be able to play precise positional shots which they can only comfortably perform with a cue that they have been consistently using. It's common knowledge how Stephen Hendry used a cheap off-the-shelf cue for the majority of his career. Other players would have detested at using this cue, but Hendry's familiarity with it was one of his fundamentals that led to him winning the 1990s. Most people will have driven their cars for a long length of time, and will have gotten used to the nuances and quirks that come with the car. Now if you were to change car, you wouldn't be able to do exactly what you were able to with your former vehicle, as you would have to get used to the characteristics and experience of this new drive. One of the most notable differences between various snooker cues can be their weight. If a player were to experiment with a cue of a differing weight or center of gravity, this can affect their strike and possibly even slip out of their hand on occasion. It can also lead to deflecting the cue ball a little more or less than the player would prefer. It's quite simple at the end of the day. Professional snooker players rely on their cues being able to perform the shots that they need, and they are in the best position to do this by using the cue that they have always been practicing with. Since the cue is an extension of their playing arm, professionals would shy away from experimenting with multiple cues as they need things to be second nature when competing. Given the frequency of tournaments in a season, there wouldn't be enough time for a player to get used to a new cue, and it would add to the mental pressure that the game already comes with.